Yeah. Welcome, sir. Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to this celebration of Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav. As you all know, India is celebrating 75 years of Indian independence. And as a part of this Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav here, we are here for the launch of the CSIR Jigyasa Virtual Lab platform. First, I would like to express my sincere thanks to Dr. Jitendra Singh, Honorable Minister, for agreeing to launch this platform today. And so, to kickstart the event, I request CSIR to shake her mind.
Honorable Minister, Dr. CG, all of our colleagues who have joined here, either in physical mode or online mode, the students who are joining for this very unique program across the country. It is a great pleasure for me to welcome all of you to this particular program. Sir, last year in the society meeting of CSIR, Honorable Prime Minister had expressed opinion that one of the effective ways of taking science and acceptance of science to students in the country would be through online platforms and meeting apps and all. Sir, as you are aware, that CSIR has had a very successful Jigyasa program for the last 3-4 years, by which we connect with school students across the country. And when I mentioned this, the Honorable Prime Minister immediately said that can you make it accessible to students all across in different corners of the country and also in villages and so on and so forth. So with that philosophy, we tied up with IIT Mumbai, and we have two very distinguished professors from IIT Mumbai here in the audience. So laboratory sir from National Chemical Laboratory.
Can I have a quick round of approval?
Oh, introduction.
Sure. So we can start with.
Yeah, I'm Gita. I'm heading the Science and Communication and Dissemination at CSIR.
Sir, I'm Sridhar, Senior Scientist from Science Communication and Dissemination Directorate. I'm coordinating this entire project. Yes.
I'm Dr. Director, NITI.
You're from NITI.
Sir, I'm Dipali Upadhyay. I'm the Program Director for Atal Thinking Labs program and the Atal Inauguration mission.
You're also from NITI.
I'm a science communicator at CSIR IGIP. I get the outcomes and Jigyasa. So I'm Shikha from Science Communication and Dissemination Directorate at CSIR.
So Mukhya used to coordinate our Jigyasa program earlier in CSIR, and then he got selected in the of Swaycon.
It's on a deputation.
Okay.
And Chairman from IIT Bombay. And technical engineering.
Sir, I come from Bombay. Are you presently here?
The Bombay come from Bombay. I'm Pushpadeep, project manager for Virtual Labs.
Pranam sir, I'm Bhaskar Ali and I'm from Salwan Public School, Mayur.
Oh,
Salwan Public School, Mayur.
She's a teacher.
Namaskar. I'm heading the Center Planning.
Namaskar, sir. Chetan Jain, GSN, CSIR. Namaskar, sir. Vaidis, JS, Admin.
You are practicing.
RP Singh, Inauguration management.
Sir, online we have many of our Jigyasa nodals from all 37 labs are joined online. And also our directors, some of the directors have joined online.
how many locations there?
I think all the 37 labs of CSIR.
Sorry?
All 37 labs of CSIR.
Across some students.
So every lab has a Jigyasa nodal person who coordinates the activity. And we also have some school students who will interact with you once it is launched. From Jammu, Lucknow, and Hyderabad, Telangana, we have. And we also have some of our collaborators from Atal Innovation Mission. I think Dr. Chintan was supposed to join virtually. And we also have our colleagues from NCSM and Kendriya Vidyalaya. They are all our partners in the Jigyasa.
So this is started as a collaboration between the National Chemical Laboratory that she represents and IIT Mumbai to make these virtual platforms for school children so that we can actually make science very easy for them to learn through apps and different kinds of games and things like that. That was the idea behind it. That's what the Prime Minister had told us. That's just the thing. So on today, sir, we are going to launch this virtual platform. We are going to launch that very soon. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Dr. Mandi. I'll just give a brief 2-minute overview on what this platform. Dr. Mande explained how the genesis of this platform. It came from the Honorable PM. I think even before COVID pandemic, he had suggested that we should have a way that we can reach out to the remote students. Because under GKSA, we have students physically visiting our labs. But of course, that restricts the number of students who can visit. And almost 3 lakh students have visited CSIR labs, all 37 labs over the 3 years. So they've really benefited from interactions with the scientists. Some of them have been residential programs, some have been one-day programs. So there are variety ways of engagement. And sometimes our scientists go to the schools and do demonstration. So it's been a very successful program. That was before the COVID-19 pandemic. And during the pandemic also, these activities were changed to online mode. In fact, many of the labs did online quizzes and webinars. So the activities did not stop, just the forum changed. And in line with what the Honorable PM had desired, CSIR has worked upon this GKSA. And we were fortunate in partnership with IIT Bombay, who had actually earlier developed a virtual platform for graduate students, for undergraduate students. So they had the experience. So we chose them as a partner to develop these programs for the school students. And as Dr. Mande mentioned, we signed an MOU with Kendriya Vidyalaya in 2017. And so they've been our partners in this entire journey. And later on in 2019 and 20, we signed MOUs with Navodaya Vidyalaya also. And recently with Atal Innovation Mission, wherein we are adopting the Nitya Atal Innovation Schools as a part of the GKSA. And so this platform, what we call the virtual lab platform, has various games, simulations, some comics, and informative videos and infographics. So we will show you a glimpse once the Honorable Minister launches it. So this is a pilot phase because this is a novel experience even for us to promote these activities. It's an indigenous effort by IIT Bombay and CSIR. Content is entirely by our scientists. They have designed content and launched it. At today, we have 40 programs in this virtual platform in different categories and about 8 labs. And we actually already have a lot of content which is there, which needs to be pushed onto the platform, which we hope to do in the next year or so. And our ambition is also to get into the regional languages. We have started first with English, but we plan to expand it. So that's the genesis of this. And now I request Honorable Minister to press the button and launch the platform.
The IITians must come to give it as semblance of authenticity.
Actually, the professor couldn't join because he was not well.
From this side, because this was not being replaced. Some of them
आप भी आइए
closer. आ जाओ।
आ जाइए
आगे पीछे हो जाए। You can go back.
Yeah.
So that you go back, I can say.
Thank you, sir, for launching the platform. Now I request Professor Narona from IIT Bombay, who has been leading this initiative, to talk about what the platform and the features it has. Professor Narona, I think maybe we keep this for 2 minutes. Right, Professor Narona. Bombay.
Yes.
Yeah.
Dr. Narona?
Professor Narona, are you there? Yes, sir. Yeah, okay, we can hear you. IIT Bombay. He's not well, we couldn't travel.
Am I audible?
Yeah,
Yeah,
you are
yeah,
audible.
Yeah. Yeah, sorry about that. I apologize for not being physically present due to ill health. Just to provide a little additional context to both the MHRD effort and the CSR efforts, so that you understand the nuances here. The MHRD effort was primarily envisioned for finding a way to deal with undergraduates across the country who have a very uneven standard of lab education. The problem has been about replacing the physical labs that students take as part of their curriculum with an online format which scales well. And that steadily allowed us to innovate in terms of simulators and even remote triggering hardware so that students get to benefit from high quality infrastructure that's typically available in the IITs, but which others lack. But along the way, we have paid attention to aspects of pedagogy and looking at ways in which people can self-learn and self-evaluate themselves through a scalable architecture which is available for all engineering students across the country to access for free. The CSR Jigyasa effort, on the other hand, is focusing more on looking at aspects of scientific temper, and in that sense, is trying to better explain the science and things happening around us. It also aims to, for example, explain the history of some of the scientific innovations that have happened in India increasingly. And there is increasingly this attempt to connect with the topics that are taught in a high school curriculum with the cutting edge research that is typically carried out in the CSR labs. So in that sense, it stands to go way beyond what the MHRD effort is doing, and therefore promises to be a repository of both science and knowledge about ongoing activity. So with this, let me throw it back to the team present on site so that we can do a very quick demo of some of the things that broadly are available. And you will find that we have content ranging from simulators to infographics to comics to videos, essentially of various types, which allow for a variety of students to engage at their own pace. So let me hand it back to you folks. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Narona, for those remarks. Vishwadeep, can you please So, sir, we are going to show you some glimpses of some of the games that have been developed and comics. So this is the website which is hosted by IT Bombay, virtual platform. So go down just go to so the activities, so these are the different.
Yeah. So this platform provides a one-stop solution to the students and teachers across the country. A one-stop platform to access various scientific and research-based information in the form of games. So these games are built in a way where students can learn while they play. And as you know, that comics is one of the famous pastimes, and it's very informative in the sense that it has a concept of science infused in the comics. Simulations are in the form of interactive, just like you have the pilot training simulations, wherein students can tweak certain parameters of scientific instruments and they can see how it works and what results come out. We have infographics where information about the scientific concepts are related to just one image. Then we have very informative videos from various CSI modules covering the activities of Jigyasa. And there are interactives where students can get a feel of interacting with the instrument or scientific experiment setup. These experiments are available, or the activities are available 24/7, hosted in the cloud. And there's a pedagogic bit behind that, so it ensures that there's critical thinking involved while learning. Then moving forward, this platform also is provides newsletters for now students across the country can come to this platform and see various updates, announcements. So we have Twitter feeds from coming all over the students from all over the country, and there are also applications that students can access or if you have any questions. We'll move to ahead and try to see some contents from this activity section. So this is one of the games designed by Chandigarh. It's based on antimicrobial resistance, which is for COVID. So there is a pedagogic bit around it, and then And then, yeah, so this is the gameplay. So, they can interact. So they play the game. So, right, we have another aspect of comics. So you can see that there is coverage of with work done by various scientists across the. So this is a form of have other type of content. This is that. So example, this is set by helps to identify problems. So then we have an infographic. As I mentioned, that is one page which tells a lot of information, conveys a lot of information about the scientific concepts. So this is about Copus crucifera. So it's a local. This plant is present across the coastal line of a country. So it gives information about various ways to cultivate and other things. This is another interactive game simulation. Which is coming from CSIR. So this is to test the level of heavy metal arsenic in the water sample. So students can actually select different case scenarios and try to play around and see. So it's like chemistry, study chemistry on the virtual simulation. So there's no need of the there's no hazard of chemical exposure and all. So of course this can't replace the real experience, but at least they get to know how it works, the concept, how it works. So there are also some informative videos. This coming from CSIR. Yeah. So we have activities page where there are more than 40 contents available, and students are free to go around and browse and explore these activities. Yeah. So that's about the details of that.
Yeah. Thank you, Pushpati, for taking us through giving us a glimpse of what the programs are. And let's move on to the next part of the program, wherein we have online interaction with few students who've been associated with CSIR program. So I think we have from 3 labs. So let's go to first to IITR Lucknow, where we have Dr. Patra, who's the CSIR scientist, who is actually driving this outreach programs, and he would like to introduce us a couple of students who have benefited from the GCSR program. Dr. Patra, over to you.
Namaskar, sir. Thank you, ma'am. And CSIR IITR, as part of CSIR GCSR program, conducting this very delightful interaction with students scientist connect program involving various activities. We are inviting students to our lab as well as conducting several other programs for like motivating them, their innovation and creativity. In the past 5 years, we have engaged more than 30,000 students through several activities, like one of the program called Be a Scientist. Students will come and they will have a hands-on experimentation at our laboratory. Another one is Empowering People, Innovation, Creativity, called EPIC. We'll invite the ideas from students. Then that got selected ideas will be fine-tuned and we'll give the training and give the prototype development. This part of the program is conducting from 2017 onwards. So we have several beneficiaries. They got scholarship, they got higher studies, and so many other their students may have received by this program. And we have two students here, one from EPIC program, another one is student project program. And they are doing currently higher studies in UK, as well as another one is Cornell University in United States. And they are going to share their experience. And first, I'd like to request Devashi.
Hello, good afternoon, everyone. I'm Devashi Kapoor, and I'm currently a student at Nottingham Trent University, and I'm pursuing BSc in product design. I was part of the Jigyasa program in 2017, which was the first one, and it was during the summer holidays, and I spent 2 months working on a project where I developed arsenic cadmium strips to test the presence of heavy metals in water. And the Jigyasa program really changed the way I looked at STEM education, because before doing the Jigyasa program, I wanted to take up humanities. And after meeting the scientists and the various PhD students at IITR, it really motivated me to take up STEM and innovation in the future. And now the program that I'm currently doing is a mixture of science, and it also involves a bit of my artistic side. And some of the projects that I've been doing are very closely related to some of our Indian traditions. A project that I did use terracotta, like we use in our mudkis to cool water, and using that kind of technology in a refrigerator. So sustainability and innovation are really close to my heart after the Jigyasa program. That's what I want to take up in the future once I finish my education and help the Indian communities using the technology that is part of our heritage and bringing it back with a modern twist.
Thank you, Devashi. Now I over to Prakati Tandon. Prakati.
Hello, good afternoon. I am Dr.
Yeah.
Want to say something?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Partha,
Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am.
I think you would like to interact with these students.
I think what is, of course, that is nice to hear all these kind words from Devashi for Jigyasa and the graduates, but what we are doing is part of our responsibility. So what we would like to learn from you is, A, what more you expect from this program, B, you found some constraints which could be overcome, and C, you could share with your peers any creative addition or value addition that you could do in addition to what was provided by your mentors.
This you can respond.
Is the question for me or for Dr. Partha?
Yeah, you can respond, like what additional information, how we can improve upon further to make more enrichment.
So she could hear.
It is for you.
Devashi is for you.
He has asked question to you.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I think for me, the time period, 2 months was, it was too short to be able to develop the whole thing. And I really wanted to keep coming back to the lab so I could progress further. And Dr. Partha was really nice to allow me some time after as well. But if that could be like a part of the program, instead of me having to contact everyone again and again, because obviously everyone's really busy at the lab as well. So if we could have like regular touch points and allow the project more time to develop, that would be really good.
That's important for all of us to understand. Not that you would not risk annoying Dr. Partha. She's also taking it as an important input. So we could actually design the time frame depending upon the individual project. So that's one thing. I mean, that's it. That is actually the purpose of this interaction. Otherwise, to hear good words from you is very kind. But did you feel motivated to do some creative addition to the project as such? Anything which was not there and you thought could be added on, or you still think so?
I think at the stage at which I joined the program, I didn't really have enough of a background in science because I had just finished my 10th grade, and a lot of the things that were expected of me from the PhD students that I was working with, they kind of expected me to know a little bit more, and that made their life really difficult to guide me because I didn't know enough to be able to do what I wanted to. And so maybe if the students that are taken in are told how much they need to know before coming in, or if it could be like an age divided thing, maybe that would help.
So I think that's an important suggestion if you could actually categorize it according to the age groups also. Anyway, thank you very much. If, of course, if you had a scientific background, then of course you would be at a slightly an advantage. But I think one of the objectives of this is that even if you don't have a scientific background, to make you realize your scientific temperament or scientific aptitude.
Yes, definitely.
So I think to that extent. Anyway, thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you, sir. Prakriti, quickly.
Good afternoon. I am Prakriti Tandon, and I am currently pursuing Bachelor's in Science at Cornell University in United States. I am majoring in chemistry here. Last year, during the COVID period, I was a part of the Jigyasa program. In Dr. Partha's lab, I worked on computationally studying the antiviral drugs that were being used against COVID-19. So in December last year, I received the Tata Scholarship, which right now fully funds my education at Cornell. And I feel Jigyasa really helped me in getting that scholarship. It also motivated me to pursue research in the field of chemistry. And very soon, I want to return back to India and contribute to the sector of pharmaceutical research.
So what is your current project with Tata?
Sorry?
What is it that you are pursuing with Tata? What is that project?
It's a fellowship, yeah.
The fellowship? The Tata Scholarship funds my education, my undergraduate education here at Cornell.
Thank you, both of you, really, for joining from wherever you are. Thank you so much for your feedback. Yeah, thank you so much.
One is Prakriti is from US and first girl is from.
Yeah, now let's go to Germany now, from US and UK. So now we connect to CSIR Triple I and Jammu. We have two students there who are going to interact.
Good afternoon, ma'am. So there are two students from KV Bandana who are joining this, and they will be sharing their experience. So I would invite Rajsi. Rajsi, are you there?
She is a nodal officer.
Yeah, she is a nodal officer.
Rajsi?
Dr. Asha Chaudhary.
Rajsi and so KV Bantala.
CSIR Jammu.
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am. Are we audible?
Yes, yes, yes. Please switch on your camera and you may interact now.
Yes, ma'am. Good afternoon, one and all. My name is Rajsi Sangra. I am currently studying in Kendriya Vidyalaya Bandlab, Jammu. I am in 11th grade and my stream is non-medical. Jigyasa, as previously has said, helped me in on a personal level, it helped me to get to my curriculum, plus also study about science beyond that. It's very helpful. It is my environment and it moves. I joined CSIR back in 2009 and it is encouraging me to opt non-medical in 11th grade.
So what did she say? No, we did, I mean, that's kind of you, but you can go beyond complimenting the organizers. Your experience.
So another student.
All of us know that the organizers of Jigyasa and this program have done a very good, fine job. So each of us is patting each other's back. Thank you, you also doing so from the book. But in what way you think we could be of a greater help to you and your peers? That's what, like Devashi said, we could have different age groups, and also maybe, I think we could add to that, we could also check the background of each of the students. The profile, depending on that, the projects would also be determined. And then, of course, as we get going, then we also understand their backgrounds, their aptitudes. Sometimes even unrealized potentials and aptitudes. But anyway.
Sir, another student Vinayak is there, so he has taken some of the projects to the national level. So Vinayak, can you share your experience with the Honorable Minister?
Either the young boys and girls are too enamored of you or they are too well tutored by the nodal officers.
Vinayak, are you there?
They are hesitant to make your popularity. But both the ways, it is appreciable.
So once they come to the lab, they don't want to step out. They want to stay there.
That's what you
Ma'am, ma'am, you have
so you can also inspire. You have to move your mask.
Yes, ma'am, you are audible. You may please ask Vinayak.
Dr. Asha, we cannot hear very well.
You could have brought these children to the CSIR lab to the schools.
They have joined from their school, so maybe Vinayak, are you there?
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, am I audible?
Yes.
Yes, yes.
Good afternoon, sir. My name is Vinayak and I am from Kendriya Vidyalaya, Bandra, Jammu. And I am studying in 9th class.
Vinayak, you are on mute.
He's the one who's trying.
Am I audible now?
Yes, Vinayak, please go ahead.
Good afternoon, क्लास 9 सर जिज्ञासा प्रोग्राम ने हमारी कोविड पेंडेमिक में बहुत हेल्प करी है क्योंकि सर इस टाइम पे हम किसी भी लैब में नहीं जा सकते एंड ऐसी लेबोरेटरी जहाँ पे हमें नहीं मिल पाती है तो सर जिज्ञासा प्रोग्राम टाइम पे हमारी साइंटिफिक टेम्परामेंट को और साइंटिफिक नॉलेज को काफी बढ़ाया है एंड सर जिज्ञासा प्रोग्राम ने मेरी काफी रिसर्च प्रोजेक्ट में भी हेल्प जैसे MCSC एंड सर उसकी हेल्प से जो वेबिनार था उसमें मैंने अपना एक प्रोजेक्ट भी बनाया जो कि मैं नेशनल लेवल पे सिलेक्ट एंड सर ऐसी सर जो नॉलेज थी जिज्ञासा प्रोग्राम में सर वो हमें सर नहीं थी इस कोविड पेंडेमिक सर बहुत ही अच्छा सा एक प्लेटफॉर्म था सर साइंस स्टूडेंट्स के लिए सर
So which class are you in?
Yes, sir, I am in 9th standard. It's a 9.
And what was that project which you took to the national level of Gary?
So it was on tectonic plates and movement, and in global warming. So it was like of smog purifier, so breath cleans.
Yeah.
So what more do you expect from Jigyasa?
So I want to more. So मैं ये चाहता हूँ कि इसमें हम ओवर इनोवेट कर सकते हैं कि हम ऐसी होलोग्राफिक सर वो ला सकते हैं सर वेबिनार्स में जिसकी हमें लगे कि साइंटिस्ट हैं वो हमारे सामने हैं और वो हमें एक्सप्लेन कर रहे हैं सर हम ऐसी होलोग्राफिक व्यू ला सकते हैं
और ऐसा कर सकते हैं कि we could have a subject-based webinar where we could connect people who are involved in that kind of project. We are interested in the profile and also the case of the project that they are interested or they are into it, then we could involve them. You could across the seniors who already come with this, maybe since he has the urge, so he would be also inspired as well as find some views over there. ठीक है विनायक बहुत अच्छा आपने सुझाव दिया है तो कोई ऐसा बड़ा वेबिनार होगा जहाँ पे बड़ा विख्यात वैज्ञानिक हो who is also working on a group working on global warming climate research उसमें आपको हम जोड़ लें ठीक है या आप नोट रख लीजिए you could do that this is connecting the child scientist with the senior scientist.
Tomorrow we have a webinar for Indian planetary missions के बारे में हमारा physical research laboratory का director is giving a जिज्ञासा webinar tomorrow.
That's something specific.
Yeah, it is on planetary missions of India, Mangalyaan and all.
Planetary mission हो गया discuss climate.
No, वो भी करेंगे.
So as Inauguration mission, we actually collect mentors which are subject matter experts, students, and it's project based, and depending on the skill or interest of the student, we connect them to relevant mentors and experts, and constantly run these one-to-one or one-to-many mentoring sessions for this.
Mentors are not in the sense that they institutionalize the mentors or designated mentors. I don't mean that. Just giving a wide exposure.
Right.
That is something more important. Wide random exposure. But the child is into, he has an urge to do something in climate. Now, if he is suddenly exposed to some kind of a thing, randomly something will occur to him. So it's not actually structured mentorship, just giving an exposure otherwise. So that's it.
More spontaneous.
Yeah.
Yeah, there will be more spontaneous.
I think from Jammu, let's move to the interiors of Telangana. We have our Indian Institute of Chemical Technology joining us with some of the students from Telangana. Dr. Shailaja, over to you.
Thank you, Dr. Geeta. Namaskar, sir. I am here joined by our Jigyasa nodal officers, the Zahir IICT school students, and the principal as well as the science teacher. Out of these 4 students, one of the students would like to share their experiences under the Jigyasa OU that we have with them. Another school would join, that is Nabharat School from Paloncha in Bhadradri district, Telangana. So firstly, I would request Mr. Yashas from 9th standard of IICT Zahir Memorial School to share his experiences with you. Over to you, Yashas.
Good morning, sir. My name is M. Yashas. I am studying in 9th class. I am participating in Jigyasa program. By participating in this, I have learned about observation and experimentation on science. I have also learned that how scientists observe the surroundings, form the hypothesis related to their observations, plan the experiment, conduct the experiments, and draw the conclusions related to the experiments. By this, the scientists are able to discover new things. And during the COVID-19 pandemic, IICT has launched a webinar on COVID-19. When I have attended that webinar, I have learned about COVID-19 how it spreads, and what are the precautions to be taken to avoid COVID-19. By attending this, I was also able to share this to my family members. In the same way, IICT has also organized virtual lab in which we can understand better about the concepts.
He means to say he's looking forward to the virtual lab, where he would get more benefits of it, so that he can witness the scientific concepts.
Ninth.
What name did she say?
Name.
Yes. Yeah, we also have another school, sir, joining from the interiors of Telangana.
Yashas should be given more confidence to also teach you in return. She says she learned so much from the webinar. So better, you should also tell them now. You should learn to give them some cues. Ma'am, the next time this should also be there. It should have been like this. It was better, no?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Feel confident.
Thank you, Yashas. Now we move on to Navbharat High School, where the school students are all joined and they are witnessing this program from there, sir. They have been very proactive school in trying to engage with us on the Jigyasa program, and this outreach, I would say, it's very satisfactory.
This is Hyderabad. He's joining in remote place now.
Where is that school located? Which place?
Paloncha and Bhadradri. Over to you, Mr. Srinivas.
Okay.
Aspirational.
Yeah, here we have teacher Mary and student Harshita from 10th standard joining us. She will be sharing her experiences under Jigyasa program. Over to you, Mr. Srinivas.
Thank you so much, madam. Good afternoon to the dignitaries of the dais. I'm very happy and feel privileged to be here before you, sir. And this CSIR virtual lab is a great launch to the state of Telangana, especially in Navbharat school. And this is our children are from interior areas and from rural areas, sir. And we are very benefited by this program. And so many programs are included in this. And already under the guidance of Dr. Shailaja Madam, we are running this virtual labs and mobile labs in our institution CSR under CSR guidance, and in 22 schools we have implemented all these things, sir. And it is a boost for our children to integrate and use in a great manner these activities and all. And also as a teacher, I can improve my skills, and we are waiting launches to be activated this program all over India, and and this program should be in our regional language so that our children can understand in a better manner, sir. Thank you very much for this opportunity.
I think the teacher was speaking, right? Can we have the video from Navbharat? We could not see you all. Harshita will speak.
Yes. For school children.
Which is I am Harshita of 10th class. I am very happy to be the part of a CSIR IIT Jigyasa. I hope I will be a scientist in the future because of the innovative learning in the scientific researches. In Jigyasa program, I learned theoretical concepts with practical experiments and presentations. Due to COVID, we could not go to school these 2 years properly, but the video games helped to me learn more and at home only, which encouraged my creativity to learn more about science. Thank you.
No, see, Harshita, for you and for others also, all the other students from Lucknow, Jammu, it's good that during COVID, you had some restrictions, constraints, so this came to your rescue. You could make up your syllabus. But as was being mentioned, that even when the COVID is over, now we don't wish that the COVID should continue. Do you wish? You don't know. So even after the COVID is over, the virtual lab should be of utility to you. So how would you plan that? Which means that even if you are thinking out of syllabus, out of school curriculum, you have some ideas, you want to develop them, then this virtual lab should come to your aid. No? So that is the long-term purpose. Are you getting what I'm saying? Abhi to, because of the COVID, of course, you had to complete your syllabus, your study. So this came as a great, good option to you and a great help to you. But when there is no such restriction, the COVID is over, you are freely going to your school, pursuing your syllabus. Then also we have to make it viable for some utilization. So this will be extra syllabus learning. Sometimes it might also help you. Now we are going to have new education policy very soon, next year, which has exit entry. You know that? Children know that. Suppose you are in class 11, or you joined first year of your college, you've taken arts, then after 1 year you realize, no, I should not have taken arts. I suddenly realizing that I have interest in climate. So should I drop out and you get back again the science, because that is there in the new education policy. So in order to actually realize or try to explore inside you, this virtual lab will come to your help. Suppose you have some interest in some subject and then you seek the help of virtual lab and then see what else is there in store and then realize, oh yes, this is of interest. Or otherwise also, no, this is not my cake. You leave it, I'll go back to art. So this virtual lab is going to be of a great help to you. Also in taking the best advantage of the new education policy, no? To also realize, understand something which is not there in syllabus, but you think you can do better. So you can quit that group of subjects onto the other subject. Am I clear? Okay.
Thank you very much, sir. Over to you, Geeta.
Yeah, thank you, Shailaja, for organizing this. Yeah, I think last is we have a teacher amongst us. We could not invite students physically, but she is based in Delhi and interacting with IGIP. Miss
You
Wari.
have got 1 or 2 students also.
So we would like to hear from her. She's been interacting with IGIP.
Yeah. Actually, sir, I've been taking my students for the
So you
past.
could remove this for a while.
Put a mic on.
I think all around you are vaccinated, but now of course the booster is also required.
So I think I've been associated with CSIR, I think for the past 6 to 7 years, even before Jigyasa program. And I've been taking my students to CSIR on Founders Day every year. And I used to get the program tailored to suit my students' requirements. Like for example, I'm a biology teacher basically, and there are chapters on biotechnology.
You are a teacher biology.
Yes. So there are chapters on biotechnology which are really very abstract for us, even as teachers, because we ourselves never experienced those techniques, like
No, that's understandable because biotechnology is a relatively newer area. Biology is a whole, no?
Yes.
And this is further specialized area. It's happening in every subject nowadays.
Yes. So when these chapters were introduced in biology, it was a very difficult task for the teachers to communicate with the students.
So by the time your and my generation finished up our academic studies, the whole syllabus had changed.
Yeah. So then CSIR came.
But that's true to everybody.
For us. And I used to take my students and I would interact with the people at CSIR. I want these techniques to be demonstrated to my students because these techniques are really.
No, I think they have this is the advantage in this generation. Because I got into biotechnology after completing my post-graduation. Because by that time, biotechnology came. It was already through. So that's. But then every generation has this advantage and disadvantage.
So the students would get a chance to interact with the scientists over there and with the PhD students. The research work they have done in their fields was demonstrated. And we used to be demonstrated on Founders Day. So basically, I used to take my students to the
But what
founders.
you can do is taking a cue from your observation. We need not restrict ourselves to the formal occasion of Founders Day. You could have it more frequently. You could actually tell us, and we could design. Suppose,
Yes, sir, that is.
suppose you think that's been quite enough for an interval of time, and now you think there are some students under your care who would require to, have an exposure or interaction. You could get in touch with any one of us, and we could arrange that. So you don't have to wait for the Founders Day, which happens only once in a year, and then it's also very formal.
No, I was told about this also that even the scientists would come to the schools and demonstrate and the certain kind of projects for the students.
And even otherwise, it can be other way around also. Suppose you have some students who have interest in one or more students who have interest in a particular area. Somebody can accompany him or her to the concerned institute.
Yes, sir.
Like we have this plant genomics. I came across a girl while going through an agriculture university. So I usually like to talk to them because that is how we learn. Because you have to relevant as I was saying. You have to learn. So she told me, yeah, I want to do this, not here. So suddenly I told her, I said, you come to this genomics. She was not aware. But of course, her teacher puts for that. So, as and when required, you expose them to the chair. So,
And I've attended some teacher training programs also wherein the scientists and the other.
so that in other words, CSIR has not only helped these smaller children, they also help elders like you.
Yes, sir.
So that's the compliment to you.
Thank you, ma'am, for being with us here. Thank you, sir. So, sir, we would request you to give your remarks to encourage our nodals to do even
I
better.
think enough of talking is already been done. Can't be anything to say, but just to formulate it. So, thank you very much. Seated beside me is the Director General CSIR, Dr. Shekhar Mande, Dr. Geeta, connected to us, Professor Narana, you just now heard, and the colleagues from different CSIR laboratories, nodal officers, and most of all the students and the children, because of whom this program is organized. Otherwise, we would not be here. So I have to first thank them for having become the reason for us to be here together. So as was being mentioned just now, I think we are all very fortunate that we are a part of the ceremony of the formal launching of a virtual science lab for children, which is possibly the first of its kind in India. So, in other words, this is India's first virtual science lab, connecting children with scientists, and also not restricted by any laid down or prescribed syllabus. So I think it's a huge new beginning, a new breakthrough, and a new concept. And I also said it's also in keeping with the new education policy which we are going to have possibly for next year, where we allow the freedom and the room to change our line of study depending on our changing aptitudes or evolving aptitudes, which does happen at the adolescent age. Maybe in the beginning you might have been driven into a subject by your parents because the parent thought I wanted to be a doctor, could not become. So he pushes the child becoming a doctor. So there's a common social psyche happening. But then when you are into a biology class and you suddenly realize, no, you have an interest in climate change, so you should go to physics. So this is also there, one of the ingredients of the new education policy. And I think this initiative today will also supplement that concept. And as our Prime Minister, Honorable Shri Narendra Modi, is always a step ahead in futuristic thinking as far as the science pursuits are concerned. I think as Dr. Mande was saying, he had thought of it way back, year or so back, when he mooted this idea, and he said, why not have something like this, a platform like this. And I'm glad that we have tried to live up to his expectation also, though not much has to be done. And it's also one step further in the journey of the Jigyasa program, which has actually become very popular. And I think, as I have always been saying, that we have to catch them young before they get spoiled by their parents, and then get spoiled by the managers of the coaching centers. So if you have to save your child's scientific talent, A from parents, B from teachers, and C from coaching centers, then I think we need to have such platforms where we can catch them young and actually streamline them into doing what they can do the best, because if the child sometimes does not do that. So this virtual lab is going to possibly address that function. An inspirational science lab, which, as you saw, will have the provision for play, for simulation, for experimentation, for reading, even for fun. So sometimes fun also lead you to some research mode or some new interaction. In the course of fun, you could design some new fun game, which could later become the basis of a mega research. Like in the initial years, the word atom was the most cursed one, because people had known of it only as causing destruction, as it did in Hiroshima and Nagasaki. Now it's become the most cherished word, because all our future needs of clean energy, even in India, are going to be fulfilled by atomic energy. And that's why the need for having more and more of nuclear plants. So if you have thought of it about 20, 35 years ago, if you propose this, that you want to have more nuclear plants, then suddenly starts suspecting you of evil design. But you see, one invention led us to understand the positive application. So even a fun application can sometimes lead to something much, much bigger than that. And I was just going through and I realized that the contents have also been well crafted, but as we know, the science is dynamic, the knowledge is also dynamic, and if the child's brain is also dynamic. What the child thinks today does not think tomorrow. So we have to keep dynamically upgrading the contents, improving them, also showcasing them, and also improving upon the methods of how best to showcase them to make them more receptive, more attractive. And as Dr. Geeta was mentioning in her remarks, that initially it is in English language, but let the message go round and clear across the country that we'll soon have it in the regional languages as well. So because this is a new experiment, first of its kind in the country, as I said, so we had to start somewhere. We have started from English language, but that does not mean that we would like anybody, any other child to be at a disadvantage just because he or she does not comprehend English to the optimum extent. So we are seriously working in that direction also. And one appreciable feature, of course, I should have thanked the colleagues at IIT Mumbai in the beginning itself, which I did. But I think I would put it the other way, last but not the least. So above all, the English language has all kind of phrases. So I would say above all, it should also, because they came to create and assisted. But highlight of today's initiative is that we are making a beginning from Kendriya Vidyalayas, Navodaya Vidyalayas, government schools. And I think the spirit is not only the belief that such facility may be of more relevance to the government schools, based on the assumption that private schools have this, because that will be demeaning the government schools. I would rather take it the other way. The best of talent that we are getting now is from Kendriya Vidyalayas and Navodaya. Since I'm looking after multiple departments, and I've seen, at least in the last 6 years, all the 20 toppers in the civil services are either from Kendriya Vidyalayas and Navodaya Vidyalayas. So I don't know where the public schools have gone. And most of them have never gone to a coaching center. So you can understand the increasing importance of self-education through these new modes. First, there is accessibility to information, accessibility to knowledge, through your apps, through your mobile, which was not there in my time or times of my generation, which was being made available by these high-fi schools or high-profile schools. But now that disadvantage has been overcome, and that is the reason we are getting the best of merit from government schools, from Navodaya, from Kendriya, and also from our other languages. We had a fourth topper in Telugu graduate, who graduated in Telugu language for 5-6 years. So I think with that idea, because we know that there is talent, maybe because of the constraints, the infrastructure may not be sufficient or optimum, which we are trying to make up through the new modes of technology. So actually, while promoting technology among the children, we are actually utilizing technology. You can see the cause and effect relationship of technology. So this is technology, for future technologists. Because the future technologists, and I'm glad that all of us are dedicating this technology to the technological growth of the future technologies of India to this first ever virtual lab. Thank you very much once again. We'll keep meeting over and over again and keep educating ourselves mutually. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for very valuable remarks and encouraging remarks and also laying the way forward. We hope to have it in regional languages. All our Jigyasa models are very actively working. Again, the strength of CSIR, we are in 22 different states. So all the labs can translate the content. That is where our ambition is. And we hope by next year we'll be able to at least launch in 2 languages. Yeah. Thank you, sir, again. And the last, we are almost ending the program. Request Dr. Narahari Shastri, Director NEES, Jorhat, to give the way forward because he is the chairman of the task force which evaluates the Jigyasa projects from different parts of the lab. Dr. Shastri.
Thank you, Geeta. Honorable Minister Dr. Jitendra Singh ji and our DG and colleagues. Sir, we are very happy and encouraged by your very inspiring interaction with all of us. And sir, in addition to the virtual labs, which was put to you, this Jigyasa program has a nodal in every lab, as was mentioned before. But we also have adopted more than 320 adult tinkering labs, and each CSIR lab is going and then trying to interact with the teachers and students there. And we are also having the Indian Science Museum with which we are working. And as you have mentioned, sir, fun while learning, we are also trying to make some games which involve the scientific temper. And we are also thinking of having a few mobile vans in different regions of the country, which will go to remote places and then interact with the not only students, but also science teachers. And whenever they have an issue, they will be able to work with us. One of the very important features is we would like to collect the content and then put it in different vernacular languages. And more importantly, we also wanted to put it in Indian Sign Language, which will be useful for our hearing and blind and deaf people. And with this types of agenda under the leadership of you and our CSIR, we would like to somehow see that how we can share this scientific temper and scientific passion across the country. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you, Dr. Shastri, for really laying the way forward, and we look forward to your chairmanship and taking the programs forward. Just I request Dr. Vakia, Senior Principal Scientist NCL, to propose vote of thanks to all the collaborators without whom we could not have done what we have done today. Dr. Vakia.
Honorable Minister for Science and Technology and Earth Sciences, Dr. Jitendra Singh ji, respected Dr. DG, Dr. Mande, Task Force Committee Chairman, Dr. Shastri, DGs,
Directors of CSIR laboratories, my lab NCL Director Dr. Ashish Lele, Head SCDD Dr. Geeta Vani, colleagues from CSIR faculty, students, teachers, parents, and our most valued guests and audiences who are watching us live. It is my great pleasure to have been asked to propose the vote of thanks on this occasion. It gives me immense gratitude and sense of pride to thank the immediate support of all those who helped and worked tirelessly by creating content for the virtual lab platform. It was a challenge and will continue to be. These are my own colleagues from CSIR, the nodal officers. Thank you, Jigyasa Lab Noodles and CSIR scientists for wholeheartedly crafting the contents and making it one of its kind to illustrate the science. You are both the force behind reaching out to more than 4 lakh school students across the nation through on-campus and online programs under Jigyasa. Today, because of your efforts, we have more than 8,500 subscribers to our Jigyasa YouTube channel. The source of initiating the Mission Mode project goes to CSIR Director General Dr. Shekhar Mande and Honorable PM Modi Ji's recommendation, which was wholeheartedly accepted by CSIR. I would like to especially thank DG CSIR for his leadership and support to the program, Mr. Chakravarti, former head HRDG, Dr. Devi Prasad Bhutia, former Jigyasa project lead, who initiated the CSIR Jigyasa lab under Jigyasa that was later spearheaded by Dr. Geeta Vani, head SCDD, and Mr. Sridhar, president Jigyasa project lead, for their continuous guidance and support throughout the project, who have been regular to virtual lab meetings which led to the speedy development of the content. I would like to thank CSIR NCL directors, Professor Nagia, Professor Chandrasekhar, Dr. Ashish Lele, my chair, Dr. Narsimha Argade, who wholeheartedly supported the Jigyasa and integrated Jigyasa 2.0 project and gave me the freedom to take decisions and provided necessary infrastructure. I would also like to thank directors of each CSIR laboratories who provided equal support to the Mission Mode project and took lead to popularize it in respective states. A big thanks to the IT, finance, administration and support teams at CSIR headquarters and various labs who dispersed limited but sufficient funds to carry out major tasks fully. I would like to thank our stakeholders who inspire us. I would like to thank the teacher and school children who have participated today and shared their experience of the CSIR Jigyasa program. I would like to thank Kendriya Vidyalayas, Navodaya Vidyalayas, state and central government and private schools who showed keen interest in Jigyasa programs, which inspired us to come up with the integrated Jigyasa 2, which is the virtual lab before you today. And finally, the past and present task force committee. The schools, teachers, principals, students, and parents too have been a continuous source of inspiration to build the virtual lab platform along with our partners from Atal Tinkering of NITI Aayog, National Council of Science Museum, and many more. A big thank you to Indian Institute of Technology, Bombay, Mumbai, whose hand-holding led to the making of the platform. The ITP team is applauded for their patience and hard work to compile our contents in the layout as we see today. An MOU was signed on 29 Jan 2021, and you can see the progress of the joint efforts considerably, barely 9 months to set up the virtual lab. Thank you to Dean, Director of ITP, Project Leader Professor Narana Pushpati Hriday, and my own past and present Jigyasa team. All CSIR scientists who actively gave valuable time to Jigyasa outreach, PhD students and staff from CSIR sister laboratories. Finally, I would like to thank the organizers from Science Dissemination and Directorate, CSIR headquarters, and CSIR laboratory nodals, IT team of headquarters and laboratories. Without you, this function would not have taken place. Thank you all.
मुझे कहा कि मैं आपको
he was out. He was away for 2 days.
So thank you everyone for joining. Thank you. Yeah. Thank you everyone.